Bye.
Thanks, Randy.
Take me to your leader.
Nate QUARRY, you are from Ultimate Fighter 1. You were a contestant who became a coach, and now you're an Ultimate Fighter.
You are correct, sir.
How was that transition for you?
A very natural transition. I came into the show not as a TV personality, but as a fighter. So, for me, this is just a natural progression.
What was it like when you found out that you were injured and you would have to drop out of Ultimate Fighter 1?
That was definitely very heartbreaking to know that I'd gone so far and to have something like this happen to me and kind of take away that opportunity. But as I go through my life, I'm kind of seeing that as things happen, there's always another avenue to take, and I can say that I came out of the show with a very large fan base without ever having to fight, and then getting to fight 3 times in the UFC has really proven to everyone why I was there in the first place, and now I'm getting a title shot against Rich Franklin. So, it all worked out for the best in the end.
Is that title shot tomorrow night? Or is that in November?
I take it you don't keep up with the news very much.
I try to, but my mind is scrambled.
What is this, amateur night? Who brought this guy?
It's the Mike Messier show. It's close to amateur night. Is
Okay.
that November's pay-per-view?
I'm fighting Franklin November 19th at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Okay, so you have a month and change to prepare yourself even further than you already have.
I have 6 weeks and 3 days.
Not that you're taking count or anything.
Nope.
And what is the preparation for a fight? I mean, Rich Franklin is obviously well respected. He's the middleweight champ, and he's also a coach on top of on The Ultimate Fighter 2. So this is a huge step for you. Do you think you're ready?
This is something I've been training for my whole life. Not just fighting-wise, but mentally preparing myself for a situation like this. So I'm definitely ready for this. I'm very honored to have this. I think Rich Franklin is a great champion, and I look forward to just getting in there and mixing it up with him. I think it's going to be a great night.
Are there any holes in his armor that you see that you can take advantage of?
There's a few things. If you watch his game, he does a few things that I think I can exploit.
Nate, you were kind of the peacemaker in The Ultimate Fighter 1.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're kind of the guy that was keeping Chris Ledman in check. You supported him, and he was kind of an emotional guy. He had problems with cost check. Is that your personality outside of the octagon? You're a guy who likes to keep people on the same page?
Well, for the most part, if there's generally altercations or problems like that, I prefer to just leave, kind of go my own way, let people do their own thing. Being in the house like that, however, you couldn't leave. And it was involving people that became my friends. Lieben was my friend before the show, and as the show went on, I became friends with a lot of the guys, became very close to them in a very short period of time, had a bond there. So when you're in a situation like that, not only do you want to stick with your friends, but for me, I feel that the biggest thing is you need to stand up for what's right. And there was times when Chris Lieben was in the wrong, and I made it very clear to him that my feelings were you need to shape up and pull your head out of your ass, basically, and do the right thing. But then when things were against him, I'm definitely going to side with him. Because to me, if people could do that in the world, look at things clearly and say, well, this is right and this is wrong, it'd be so much easier instead of going to things with a blank look. I'm a Republican, so I believe everything the government does, or I'm a Democrat, so I hate everything the government does. To me, that's just ridiculous. There's a right and there's a wrong. We need to be intelligent enough to decide what that is on our own in every situation.
You sound like a very intelligent guy. Did you did you pursue higher education before becoming an Ultimate Fighter, or are you straight from high school into this realm?
I did not go through any higher education. I'm just a high school graduate. I was raised to be a worker. But, a lot of schooling really works well for people. I prefer to learn things out in the real world. A lot of people get, book knowledge by going to school, and they read in a book what they think will work in the real world, but it's really not quite that simple. I much prefer to see the real world and how it works and interaction with people. That's my favorite thing.
Well, you're living the life right now. You're part of a great community of fighters and trainers, and now you're part of the Mike Messier show.
I never dreamed it would get this big.
Yeah.
Mike Messier, so it's huge.
Yeah. Well, just won Best Series for Rhode Island Public Access, so it's a small accomplishment. But if there's anything you want to say to my audience, I've been talking to the other fighters and saying that there is a lot of mixed martial arts training in Rhode Island. Believe it or not, there's a lot of jiu-jitsu and Aikido trainees. Is there anything you want to say to them if they had any hopes of becoming an Ultimate Fighter someday themselves?
The biggest thing that I've noticed in being successful in ultimate fighting, or really in anything in life, it's not how much skill you're born with or anything like that. It's all determination and heart. anyone can achieve a goal to some certain extent just by being hardworking and continuing to follow their goal. So if that's something that you want to do for whatever reason, for fitness, for self-defense, for competition, just go at it wholeheartedly, and you'd be amazed at the things that are possible.
Great, Nate. Thanks. Good words of advice. I want to thank you for being on the show.
No problem, and make sure everybody to watch November 19th. It's going to be pay-per-view. Myself against Rich Franklin. We're going to be the main event at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. It's going to be a phenomenal show. So I'd like everyone to purchase that show. You know, I don't get a cut of the proceeds, obviously. I'm just a broke fighter. But I think it's going to be a phenomenal show, and I'd like to show the UFC that the fans out there are really going to support myself and Rich Franklin, and I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight. So I'd encourage everyone to get that show.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem.